Hi parents, welcome to the supplementary video. Starting with the younger children, they are learning about the story of Achan. After the victory in Jericho, the Israelites were told that all the spoils were to go to the Lord as an offering of thanks. However, there was one person who decided otherwise and stole from God, and his name was Achan. God got furious when Achan had done this, as all of Israel had to suffer the repercussions of his sin when they went to fight against the city of Ai. God's anger here is a teaching point for the children. You can ask them if they ever got mad when someone took something of theirs that belonged to them. I'm sure there are plenty of stories, especially if there are siblings in the picture. Let them understand God's heart in this scenario, as Achan as he stole from him. So the main point is this: God sees everything, right? There's absolutely nothing that can be hidden from God. With every blessing that we get, we need to honor God. Has everything that we have ultimately belongs to God in the first place. And this is why we encourage the children to give, especially during offering time, to show them how we honor God with our tithes and offerings. Secondly, there are unknown consequences from doing a sin or committing a sin. When Achan stole from God, I'm sure he did not expect that the Israelites would lose in battle. On the outside, what Achan did and the Israelites' battle with Ai seems to have nothing to do with each other, right? But this story teaches us that everything is connected. Sin not only harms the person doing it, but it can also unintentionally harm others as well. So it is important to live a life that is holy and pleasing to God. Now for the older children, they are learning about the story of Gideon. Leading up to the story of Gideon, the children learned that Joshua passed away. After his death, the Israelites have a bit of a roller coaster relationship with God. There are moments when they are close, and then other moments when they just disobey him completely, flat out. And you can just imagine the frustration God has with his people. And just think about it. He had brought the Israelites from slavery in Egypt to the promised land. And the people have seen and heard so many marvelous signs and wonders God did for them. Yet they still have trouble focusing on God and doing what he is calling them to do. So quite possibly, once they reached the promised land, they became complacent and too comfortable, right? And that could lead us into some danger. So God lets the Israelites become conquered by its own enemies as a wake-up call for them. Then he calls upon Gideon to help the Israelites, stating that the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. However, Gideon feels unworthy or less than to be used by God. During Gideon's lifetime, he had not done anything heroic, let alone even be in battle. So the main point I would like for you to focus on is what God says in response to Gideon's doubt. God tells Gideon that he will be with him through it all. God has a history of using imperfect people to accomplish his perfect will. What many consider to be weak and less than is the type that God uses to do incredible feats. So it is okay to be wherever you are mentally, physically, or even spiritually at times. There is nothing too hard for God. Paul tells us in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 10, that he delights in his weakness. For when he is weak, he is strong. God's strength is made perfect, and God knows our true potential. All we need to do is to trust in him to overcome our weakness. And that's it. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Take care.